famine continued to ravage the land of Canaan. When the grain they had brought from Egypt was almost gone, Jacob said to his sons, "Go back and buy us a little more food." But Judah said, "The man was serious when he warned us. You won't see my face again unless your brother is with you. If you send Benjamin with us, we will go down and buy more food. But if you don't let Benjamin go, we won't go either." "Remember," the man said, "you won't see my face again unless your brother is with you." "Why were you so cruel to me?" Jacob moaned. "Why did you tell him you had another brother?" "The man kept asking us questions about our family," they replied. "He asked, 'Is your father still alive? Do you have another brother?' So we answered his questions. How could we know he would say, 'Bring your brother down here'?" Judah said to his father, "Send the boy with me, and we will be on our way. Otherwise, we will all die of starvation, and not only we, but you and our little ones. I personally guarantee his safety. You may hold me responsible if I don't bring him back to you. Then let me bear the blame forever. If we hadn't wasted all this time, we could have gone and returned twice by now." So their father, Jacob, finally said to them, "If it can't be avoided, then at least do this. Pack your bags with the best products of this land. Take them down to the man as gifts: balm, honey, gum, aromatic resin, pistachio nuts, and almonds. Also take double the money that was put back in your sacks, as it was probably someone's mistake. Then take your brother and go back to the man. May God Almighty give you mercy as you go before the man, so that he will release Simeon and let Benjamin return. But if I must lose my children, so be it." So the men packed Jacob's gifts and double the money and headed off with Benjamin. They finally arrived in Egypt and presented themselves to Joseph. When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the manager of his household, "These men will eat with me this noon. Take them inside the palace, then go slaughter an animal and prepare a big feast." So the man did as Joseph told him and took them into Joseph's palace. The brothers were terrified when they saw that they were being taken into Joseph's house. "It's because of the money someone put in our sacks last time we were here," they said. "He plans to pretend that we stole it. Then he will seize us, make us slaves, and take our donkeys." The brothers approached the manager of Joseph's household and spoke to him at the entrance to the palace. "Sir," they said, "we came to Egypt once before to buy food, but as we were returning home, we stopped for the night and opened our sacks. Then we discovered that each man's money, the exact amount paid, was in the top of his sack. Here it is. We have brought it back with us. We also have additional money to buy more food. We have no idea who put our money in our sacks." "Relax. Don't be afraid," the household manager told them. "Your God, the God of your father, must have put this treasure into your sacks. I know I received your payment." Then he released Simeon and brought him out to them. The manager then led the men into Joseph's palace. He gave them water to wash their feet and provided food for their donkeys. They were told they would be eating there, so they prepared their gifts for Joseph's arrival at noon. When Joseph came home, they gave him the gifts they had brought him, then bowed low to the ground before him. After greeting them, he asked, "How is your father, the old man you spoke about? Is he still alive?" "Yes," they replied. "Our father, your servant, is alive and well." And they bowed low again. Then Joseph looked at his brother Benjamin, the son of his own mother. "Is this your youngest brother, the one you told me about?" Joseph asked. "May God be gracious to you, my son." Then Joseph hurried from the room because he was overcome with emotion for his brother. He went into his private room, where he broke down and wept. After washing his face, he came back out, keeping himself under control. Then he ordered, "Bring out the food." The waiters served Joseph at his own table, and his brothers were served at a separate table. The Egyptians who ate with Joseph sat at their own table, because Egyptians despise Hebrews and refuse to eat with them. Joseph told each of his brothers where to sit, and to their amazement, he seated them according to age, from oldest to youngest. And Joseph filled their plates with food from his own table, giving Benjamin 5 times as much as he gave the others. So they feasted and drank freely with him.
So get ready, because today we're diving into this story.
Oh, yeah.
It's like ripped straight from the headlines, you know?
Right.
If headlines existed like way back in the time of the Bible.
Yeah.
But really, we're talking family drama, famine,
Oh, yeah.
mistaken identities, all that good stuff.
That's good stuff.
Genesis chapter 43.
It's all there.
It has it all.
You're just like dropped right into the action in this chapter.
Oh, yeah.
Like no easing into things.
No.
The stakes are really high right away.
Yeah, you got that right. Because, see, the last time these brothers were in Egypt, things got a little complicated.
A little bit, yeah.
How complicated? Well, they sold their brother Joseph into slavery.
Wow.
Now they're back because their homeland, Canaan, is in the middle of this awful famine.
Awful famine.
Talk about an awkward family reunion.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Right. Can you imagine like walking into that room?
It's even more intense when you remember they have no idea they're about to come face to face with him again.
Oh.
He's the one in charge now.
Yeah.
This powerful Egyptian official.
Wow.
Holding the key to their survival.
So we've got Jacob,
Yeah.
the father,
Right?
sending his sons all the way back to Egypt.
Yeah.
He's relying on this like mysterious man they met before, but he's like deeply hesitant to let his youngest son, Benjamin, go with them.
Yeah.
And honestly, who could blame him?
I know.
He thinks Joseph is gone
Of course.
forever because of what his other sons did.
Jacob's emotional state here, even thousands of years later,
That's relatable.
is so relatable. Yeah.
Just asks his sons, and you can just feel like the weight of this question, the years of pain behind it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, why were you so cruel to me?
Wow.
He's a parent like pushed to the edge,
Yeah.
desperately trying to protect what little he has left.
It's interesting, too, because he's sending his sons with all these gifts, too.
Oh,
Balm, honey, spices. It really paints a picture
it does.
of the cultural norms back then.
Totally.
How important it was to show respect
Yeah.
and maybe even a little desperation.
For sure.
They couldn't just show up empty-handed.
No way.
They had to.
Big ask.
Yeah, it highlights the power dynamic, too.
Huge power dynamic.
Yeah.
They're in a vulnerable position,
Right.
dependent on this Egyptian official for their survival.
And they're carrying all this guilt.
Oh, yeah, and the guilt
Yeah.
from their past actions, which I think adds another layer of tension to this whole encounter.
Totally. Because they even start freaking out, like, right away.
Yeah.
Thinking, like, it's because of the money that was in our sacks last time.
Oh, no.
Like, he's going to say we stole it.
It's like their past mistakes are literally haunting them.
It's such a classic example of how our guilt and our fear can totally warp how we see things.
Oh, yeah.
They're just, like, projecting their own anxieties onto Joseph, assuming the worst possible thing is going to happen.
So we've got the brothers freaking out,
Understandably.
convinced they're going to be thrown in prison.
Right.
But then we get this glimpse
Yes.
into how Joseph is reacting.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really fascinating.
Okay.
He sees Benjamin,
Yeah.
his long-lost brother,
Right.
and he is completely overwhelmed with emotion.
Can you imagine that moment?
I'm trying to?
He's worked his way up. He's in this position of power and influence.
Right.
But just the sight of his brother
Yeah.
brings all those old feelings rushing back.
Oh, wow.
He even has to, like, excuse himself to compose himself.
It's such a human moment amidst all this, like, political intrigue and family drama.
It's true.
It's like he's trying so hard to stay in control,
Right.
but he's not some unfeeling robot.
Right.
He's got a heart.
He does.
And it's so clear that seeing Benjamin has shaken him
Yeah.
to his core.
To his core.
And it reminds us that, like, no matter how much time has passed,
Right.
family ties run deep.
Deep.
But it's not just a sentimental reunion either,
No, it's not.
because Joseph has them all sit down to eat.
Okay.
But he places them in a very specific order, according to their age.
Interesting.
This detail might seem insignificant at first,
Right.
but it hints that something deeper is going on.
Like he's orchestrating the situation.
It's like he's orchestrating it, yeah.
Studying their reactions.
What do you make of that?
I think it suggests he's not just reminiscing about the past.
Right.
He's observing them.
Yeah.
Maybe even testing them.
No.
There's a plan in motion here.
Okay.
And the brothers are totally clueless
Oh, man.
about the role that they're playing in it.
Okay, now I'm really hooked.
Right.
We've got a tense family reunion, a famine,
Yeah.
and a powerful leader with a hidden agenda.
I know.
This is like next level drama.
Next level.
And it's not just like a simple meal either. This
Killer.
is a lavish feast.
Oh, yeah.
The kind you would expect from some high-ranking Egyptian official.
Right.
But then we get this detail
Okay.
that feels almost out of place.
Okay.
Joseph eats separately.
Oh, yeah. The text actually explains this.
Really?
Egyptians weren't supposed to eat with Hebrews.
Wow.
They considered it, and I'm quoting here,
Right.
the detestable.
Wow, talk about a cultural barrier.
I know.
Here, Joseph is
Yeah.
trying to reconnect with his brothers,
Right.
but he's also bound by these social customs of his time.
Absolutely.
It's like he's caught between two worlds.
Yeah, it adds another layer of complexity to his character, right?
Totally.
Into the whole situation.
It makes you wonder about the pressure he must have felt,
Oh, yeah.
the weight of those expectations.
Totally.
Okay, so we've got the separate dining thing,
Yeah.
the lavish feast,
Yeah.
but then there's another detail that kind of jumps out.
Okay.
Benjamin, the youngest,
Yeah.
gets 5 times as much food as his brothers.
Wow.
What do you make of that? Is Joseph playing favorites?
It's a power move for sure,
Yeah.
whether he's doing it consciously or not.
Right.
By singling out Benjamin, I mean, he's just like throwing a wrench
Right.
into the already complicated family dynamics.
Totally.
Think about it.
Oh, yeah?
The brothers turned on Joseph out of jealousy. And now here's Joseph seemingly favoring their youngest brother.
Oh, man.
How do you think that sits with them?
Talk about adding fuel to the fire.
I know.
You can almost feel the tension like escalating with each course of this meal.
Yeah, and they're suspicious of everything.
Oh, yeah.
But remember, they have absolutely no idea who they're dealing with.
That's what makes this story so captivating.
It really is.
We're privy to both sides of this whole narrative.
We are.
Joseph's internal struggle to connect with his family
Right.
while also like maintaining his position.
Right.
And the brothers' guilt and fear.
Yes.
And their complete obliviousness to his true identity.
Right. It's like watching a slow motion train wreck, you know?
Yeah.
You know, something bad is about to happen,
Oh, yeah.
but you can't tear your eyes away.
It's dramatic irony at its finest.
It is.
But speaking of not knowing what's going on,
Okay.
we as readers are also left hanging at the end of this chapter.
It's true.
Like, will Joseph finally reveal himself?
Yeah. How will his brothers react?
How will his brothers react when they find out who he really is?
What about Jacob?
Oh my gosh, poor Jacob.
Back home, anxiously awaiting their return.
You know,
All these unanswered questions
Enough.
just keep piling up.
and that's the genius of this story.
Holy.
It doesn't offer like these easy answers
Right.
or these neat resolutions.
So,
It leaves you with more questions than you started with,
Antissa.
and it makes you think critically
Absolutely.
about the characters and their motivations
And their choices.
and the choices that they make.
It forces you to confront all these complexities,
Hmm.
family forgiveness,
The lasting impact of our actions.
just
Exactly.
basic stuff.
So we've got suspense, we've got emotional turmoil,
Yeah.
and we've got a cliffhanger ending that leaves us wanting more.
The best kind of ending.
We've been talking about Joseph and his brothers.
Yeah.
This story, full of twists and turns,
Lots of them.
it really makes you think, you know,
It does.
this might be like an ancient story,
Right.
but the themes of family drama, forgiveness,
Oh, totally.
and justice, those are things we still grapple with today.
Absolutely. And what's so powerful, I think, about Genesis 43
Yeah.
is it just throws you right into the middle of it all.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
experiencing all the rawness, the
Right.
confusion, the hope, the heartbreak right
Yeah.
alongside these characters.
Doesn't shy away from the messiness of it all either.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Like, we're wrestling with these big questions.
We are.
How do you reconcile after a betrayal like that?
Right.
Where do you even begin to rebuild trust?
I know.
And what does it even mean to forgive someone?
Yeah.
Especially when they may not even realize the pain that they've caused.
It's true. And that cliffhanger ending.
I know.
Talk about genius.
I was going to say,
Leaves you wanting more.
it does.
But I think it also makes you think about the bigger picture, too.
What do you mean?
Well, this story, it isn't just about one family's drama, right?
Right.
It's a story that's been told and retold for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And it still resonates with us because it just taps into these
I know.
universal truths about human nature.
Yeah.
We all crave connection.
We do.
We all make mistakes.
Right.
We all have the capacity for both great love
Right.
and great harm.
It's so true. So if you're looking for a story that's going to like stay with you,
Oh, yeah.
long after you've finished reading it. Genesis 43, is it?
It is.
It's a story about the enduring power of family,
Yes.
the complexities of forgiveness,
Forgiveness.
and the potential for redemption, even in the face of unimaginable betrayal.
Powerful stuff.
And honestly, who among us hasn't experienced some version of that
Right.
in their own lives?